Good afternoon, our amazing viewers. Thank you for joining us once again on Mentorship Monday, where we host our mentors in the Inspire Mentorship program to talk about their professions, their ambitions for their country, and just to hear what's on their mind. Today we have Me Likhapha Mahase, who is an amazing mentor to me, not just to the mentees. She's an amazing mentor to me. She's one of our amazing leaders in the country. I'm just gonna read her profile. This is like as brief as I can do it. She is the Accountant General of the Kingdom of Lesotho. She's also managing partner of the Chartered Accountants. She is the former CEO of the Lesotho Institute of Accountants, and she has won a number of awards for being a leader in the accounting profession, and she is also a Mandela Washington Fellow. So welcome, Me Likhapha Mahase.
Thank you, Likeleli.
How are you? I've been waiting to host you.
Excellent.
And you are one of the last mentors that we are hosting. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I think it's also a pleasure to be share a number of nuggets of issues that you want us to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me Likhapha, your profile is very heavy. Like you're a heavyweight, and what people don't know is you are quite young. You know, in Africa, the youth is considered to be between the ages of, I think it's 18 and 35, right?
Yes.
You are still under 35. You are still a youth, but you have been the CEO of LIA. You are now the Accountant General of the country. So I'm looking forward to really get into, how did you build your career at such a young age and what drives you? So first question is, how did you get into the accounting profession? So starting from why you studied accounting in university and all the way to when you got into the accounting profession.
Okay. Thank you very much, Medical Lady. I think like any other young child who thinks they are sort of an A-star student, I wanted to do medicine. And I had my grades in sciences and maths. Then when I looked at the medicine program, it was taking 7 full years. If you are going to a country that doesn't speak English, it's a 9-year program because there's a 2-year of language. And I was eyeing 2 countries, Cuba and Czechoslovakia, for reasons that I will share with you on another day.
Okay.
And I looked at some of my role models then, whom had just graduated and who were already making an impact on the market. And one of the examples was Mr. Thabo Lejama, who is the former Commissioner General of the Lesotho Revenue Authority, who is now with the IMF. And he had done this program that we don't know about, because if you are coming from Mogotlong, obviously you have to be a teacher or a police or a nurse, something that we know of. So anything else was not very clear. But there was this person who's now a manager. And I was like, I need to be, and my impact has to be felt quickly. Then I started asking how you got in there and how I can be. And then I found that there's another university or school, in a sense, in Maseru, which is the Center for Accounting Studies. I asked how to go in. Long story short, fast forward, I did the accounting program. I think a little bit of inspiration came from my mother, who is an accounting or a commercial subjects teacher. So it gave me the drive, and then I enjoyed it from that moment today.
So you enjoyed accounting. I think you're one of the few people that I know, and I mean, I know a lot of accountants because I am in the accounting field, who say they enjoy accounting. So tell me more about that.
I think in some of while I enjoy accounting as a course, but there was a time I had an executive coach or a mentor in a sense, and she asked me, what is your vision? that was a long time ago, and I struggled around having a vision. And she said it has to be something very long term, something very fulfilling, something that will stretch you, and something that should fulfill you and identify you, but something that will stand the test of time. And then I said, I want to make an impact in the accounting profession, locally, regionally, and globally. And I have it, it's there, it remains relevant. And with it, I'm doing any course that is related to accounting, and I'll do any work that is related to accounting. I will do any mentorship that is related to accounting. This includes the past jobs where I was an auditor at Mose Roland, at Newton Chartered Accountants, at Duron Chartered Accountants. It includes where I was a lecturer in accounting at the Center for Accounting Studies, lecturing auditing, lecturing corporate governance and ethics, both CIMA, ACCA, SIPFA. So I've done a little bit of that. And I was saying any offer that makes an impact in the accounting profession, then it tallies with my vision, then I will do it. And then a cherry on top was the job that I'm doing now, basically, which is overseeing the national accounts. But it was also inspired by having been in the accounting profession regulatory, which is the Lesotho Institute of Accountants. So I know nothing but accounting, and I know nobody but accountants. So I mean, I enjoy it.
Nothing but making an impact in the profession.
Yes.
All right. So let's take me back to school, to Center for Accounting. What kind of student were you? Do you feel like you excelled in a specific way that contributed to where you are today? How did you approach your studies at the Center for Accounting?
I was just a hard worker. Yes. I strive for balance. So we know that somebody who knows a theory struggles with numbers, or somebody with numbers struggles with theory. That is why you have your lawyers who doesn't know maths, or your statisticians who doesn't know, yes. So I strove for, I did work on the balance. I think I was a hard worker. I won't pride myself with any brilliance or intelligence, but I think I had a focus, and I know what I wanted. Even though I can't put a finger on exactly this is it, but I knew the scope and the range, or the play field where I wanted to play in, participate in, making contribution on and an impact on, which was the accounting profession. Yes. Or the related fields, like auditing, tax related, but mainstream accounting. Yes.
And I think that point about hard work is important, because what I've seen, in particular when I was studying, at the University of Free State, I found that people that were smart and intelligent but hadn't developed the work ethic, they are the ones that would struggle, towards the end of the degree, like third year, when it's a bit tougher, and honors. And even if they failed, which a lot of them did, they couldn't recover, because they couldn't get it in their minds that your intelligence can only get you this far, but what sustains you is the hard work and the discipline that you develop along the way. So I've seen people that, like when I was young, everyone would say, my younger sister is very smart, but I'm a hard worker. And I could tell that, they're trying to say, I have to push a bit harder to get those A's, but I do feel like it's something that sustained me, for a long time. Do you feel that is the same for you?
I don't remember having any pressure, because I have been a self-pusher.
Yes.
So I have ever been pushing myself. Initially, it was because I had the dream of being a doctor, and I said, if I start, I know they read a lot and they sleep late. So if I start sleeping early,
I'm going to struggle.
And then later on, when I started getting responsibilities, you just can't afford to sleep 8 hours, 9 hours if you want to really achieve anything. So it was an issue of prior target set, and what do I need to put as an effort to get to those targets that I have put. And make sure that I aim there right to the moon, so that even if I don't get there, at least amongst the stars I shall fall.
And how did you deal with the times when you didn't really get there, when you didn't get to your targets? How did you learn to deal with failure or disappointment along the way?
Okay. The failure on the way, I think on the first instance, I think it was when I was at the Center for Accounting Studies, when I had my big failure, like my first failure. It was heavy, but I was advanced, that is one, and a lot of my colleagues had failed on the way. So I really am the one one of those who delayed to fail.
Yeah.
So I already had my hold-ons to say at least I didn't fail. So I had some consolations that I had.
Yeah.
And I think it was becoming a norm to say, oh, okay, can whitewash. It was becoming a norm to say, no, you don't make it through here. But again, I think it's a bad norm that we create to expect failure.
Of course.
But I think everybody and every leader has failed. And I think it's essential. It's an essential ingredient to every leader to fail. Not in studies only, but even in the profession and anywhere. I usually call it a humble pie. You can never be a bigger person without serious humility. If you haven't been laughed at, you can't be a bigger person. So we need it as failure to have a wake-up call. The hardest knock brings the biggest bounce. You know my story. Yes, but not my story for today.
Yes.
So you need to fail as an essential ingredient towards leadership and greatness, really.
Yeah, and it's all about how you frame that failure for yourself.
Yes. You decide whether you want it to break you or you decide whether you want it to make you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think if you don't self-pity or pity party, and you wake up and proceed. So from the Center for Accounting Studies, that was my first failure, and I started learning from it. Yes.
Okay, well, look at what this is the result of that failure. So nothing was lost there. Now, after the Center for Accounting, you went to work for Mos Roland, right?
During, actually.
Oh, you started working while studying.
Yes.
How was that? How did you balance that?
I was single. I had a lot of time in my hands. So it was really interesting because we would do the first year and the second year. And then the third year, there was no classes during the day. You just had to go to evening classes. So during the day, there was a lot of time in my hands. Then we applied with my friends. Two of us got successful at the Mos Roland. It was peanuts. It was this pocket money, this extra cash that I had, which I didn't anticipate in the near future.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time in my hands, and I think I put a lot of time in the work that I did there, which saw me progressing nicely and quickly towards Mos Roland, towards seeing me supervising serious audits.
Wow.
In Maseru, I won't mention names, but I started seeing that.
Yeah.
Then I also got on secondment to auditing with Mazars in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Then I started doing a foreign or international audits by EU projects funded.
Oh, wow.
We did Malawi, Tanzania, Botswana. So I was in the international team once a month, once in 2 months. Then I would go meet with the Cape Townians. They were from Cape Town. We would meet at OR Tambo, cross over to do the audits. And within 3 months or 6 months, then I was leading one of the teams. So I was supervising the team. Now, bringing the mentality of Lesotho is not sufficient. I never thought I would supervise a team. especially from the South Africa
A very
team.
diverse team, yeah.
Yes. So those were the nice exposures that I got to encounter at a young age.
Yeah.
And just being selflessly working, helping, and building a team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So normally what I've seen in our profession is that sometimes when people start working, they lose track of the study side of
Yes.
things. Yeah. So how did you basically push yourself? I mean, like you were doing so well at work, you could have said, you know what? This is nice. Let me just forget about school. Why is it that you decided to still balance, and get that professional qualification? Because you do need your studies to get the professional qualification at the end of the day.
It's because every time I have goals, I refresh goals, I retreat, I meditate, and I introspect. Even now, as I get here, I'm from another retreat. Because you become redundant to yourself, you stop challenging yourself, and you become an idle mind, and you start complaining about a lot of these other things without making yourself busy. Busy with yourself,
Yeah.
competitive with yourself. So I always have goals that I want to achieve. When I've achieved it, I set another goal that will stretch me a bit. And that is what has been keeping me. I knew I had to be a chartered accountant. I knew I had to be, so I have those goals that are there that I have to keep to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have remained somewhere, not growing. Even now, I have other goals that I won't share with you. They are my secret weapon. But in the person I want to become, I already have sort of a sketch, a framework of where I am, the boards I'm participating in, the regional bodies that I am a member of, what type of interaction, what type of an impact that I want to put into those organizations.
Yeah.
But remember, they all tie to that vision that I told you about.
Wanting to make an impact in the profession.
Yes.
That is so powerful. And when I reflect on my own journey, when I started doing articles, I was working and studying in my first year. And I could see that everyone else that was working and studying, like for them, it was like, oh, wow, now I have money. Like, now I need to buy a TV and I need to buy couches and I need to buy this. And I remember just telling myself that I'm just going to pay my studies in full for the whole year. So PwC paid for that, and then they had to deduct it from my salary every month. And that obviously meant that, I'm left with, such little money at the end of the month. But my one goal that year was just to finish my studies, I mean, and I've seen how a lot of like the people that I worked with, a lot of them stayed behind, like they didn't pass. If some of them did pass, it was after a long time. And I mean, I'm not saying it's because they were buying TVs, but I do think that having that goal of saying this year, this is what I'm doing, and I'm focusing on that. So yeah, that is really powerful. All right, so in your journey, Me Likhapha, you are a mentor right now, right? Have you had any mentors? You spoke about your business or your professional coach. Have you had any mentors that have contributed to you being where you are today?
I have. I do. And I want to believe that every player needs a coach. But also, we don't have to have too many coaches because the other one will teach you to sprint, the other one will teach you the strength, the other one will teach you pace. So depending on where you are and what you need, then you need a different a mentor or coach. But certainly I've had mentors, I've had coaches that guide me through those dark nights or those moments of uncertainty or those second guess moments to say, oops, what do I need? But the other issue is I needed a lady leader who is a mentor, who talks to leadership, and a woman in the boardroom or at the place of influence.
Why that specifically?
for obvious reasons. They are, there are challenges for women leadership, being heard, being seen, and making a contribution and being listened to. So, and it was very clear from the outset that you're not going to be listened to just because you are a lady.
Yes.
Go read, go study.
What do you bring to the table?
Yes. So that was the first issue. The second issue was the image, the brand, and the outlook that I portray at all those engagements. You'll be taken seriously or regarded less seriously, depending on how you engage with the counterparts, depending on the contribution you put, and depending on how organized or disorganized you are. Now you start becoming a mother, you start becoming a wife, and you start bringing all those wife and mother issues to work. You start missing work, you start coming late for meetings. It therefore works against you. So I'm certain I needed a woman mentor in that sphere.
So what, just to expand on this, how do you present yourself to the world, or to these tables, these different forums where you're serving? What have you intentionally told yourself about showing up in the world?
That I'm equal, that I'm same, that my point or my idea is as good as anybody's idea.
Wow.
I don't need to shout for my argument to be heard. And I don't have to also be, I'm going to use a bad example, an idol or a pop star look to be seen. And try not to be a woman as much as possible by being very comfortable and looking alike. Yes. When we are taking a walk as a team of leaders, I shouldn't come walking slowly because now I'm on heels and they're not comfortable. You understand? Yes. So all those nitty-gritties, just do what anybody else would do. But the main thing is contribute and be present, participate, be organized. And when you are given a responsibility, do it to your best. Another issue is each responsibility, each opportunity, each chance should be an accident or a chance to your higher, it should be a stepping stone to your higher or better you. So any opportunity, any chance that gets granted, I used to use it to open doors for a higher opening. Yes.
All right. So just back to your mentors again. I want you to mention maybe 2 or 3 specific mentors that played a role in your life, and why their role was so important.
You want the local ones or the international ones?
You can give me 1 local and 1 international mentor.
The first one is a lady by the name of Patience, who did this women leadership one. She's in South Africa, so I used to do a lot of executive engagements, executive coaching for branding and image, for outlook, for all the balances that one needs to excel. Yes. So can I give you at that?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to mention 1 local mentor.
They're my trade secrets.
Okay,
yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine. I won't call them.
But I have.
Okay, I won't promise not to call them.
Yes.
What I want to know then is, how did you get them to be your mentors? Did you approach them? How did you decide who to go for?
Okay. The first one is when you come in a bot and then you find this tough lady chairing the meeting and be taking control, taking charge, and being listened to. And you say, I want to look exactly like this person. And then you start exchanging contacts and start having coffee which is not in the culture of women.
Yes.
At least Basotho women.
Yeah.
We go after 4:30, we go home.
Yes.
And this network that our counterpart male are getting over a bottle of beer, whiskey, or coffee, we tend not to give it.
Miss out on, yeah.
Yes. So I made an intentional action to say, I like the way you conduct yourself. I like the way you conduct the meetings. So in as far as this sphere is concerned, I want to know how to get better, how to be good at this. And you start liking everything, how she's wearing, clothes she's wearing, and a lot of interactions. Yeah. And listen, it's very nice to be looked up at, and you start opening up. So she started opening up, showing me a lot of secrets of what she got from where, how she prepares for a meeting, seeing how it manifests. As now my successes were underpinning and were coming out, it becomes courageous, and I think the relationship just grows. I think it is also important to say in that mentorship relationship, I also picked my weight. You go there, you initiate to pay the bill. You go there, after the meeting, you send a short confirmatory email to say these are the things we agreed upon.
Yeah.
And to also say a month later, listen, this is an offer I have got because of our engagement. This is what I'm pursuing now. Because it's very important when you have a mentor to show progress. Yeah. Because it talks to the results of the engagement. Yes.
And to show initiative as well, I think, that's what
I'm yes. So exactly that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So having been part of the Inspire Mentorship program, and I mean, outside of the program, I know that you do mentor, people, that you take it upon yourself to lift as you rise. Why is it important for you to, I don't really want to say give back, but why is it important that you pass down the knowledge, the experience that you've gained to other people?
Initially, it was what I was paid for. When I was the CEO of the Lesotho Institute of Accountants, I regarded my work to be feeding the pipeline, meaning talking to the high school or the school leavers, those who want to be accountants, prepare them to the world they want to go into, engage with them, and make sure they understand and they are inspired, and interact with them in a manner that removes the frustrations that may hinder them getting into the profession. And we usually used to say it's a competition of professions. Engineering wanted good performers, medicine wanted good performers, everybody wanted good performers, and accounting as well. We need a top performers. So that was the feeding the pipeline. On the program, as I said, I have lectured CIMA, SIDFA, and ACCA. Also was engaging with them and seeing the knowledge that you share being absorbed. And tomorrow hearing that I've actually applied the knowledge that you have taught us. It was first fulfilling to me than it pays back to the persons who have been mentored. The other issue was right there to develop sort of ambassadors. It happens also in the audit field, at the audit professions, where we go in for training, you go in for being groomed to become an accountant. And so it is a journey from school to training or internship or articles, as you may put it, now to work. But the main function that I was pursuing was to uplift the potential and make them feel fulfilled to be the best that they really could.
Yeah.
And as a coincidence, organizations started knowing that I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And they would call me, we are looking for a finance manager with this experience.
Wow.
We are looking for a trainee with zero experience. And they also started reporting themselves to me to say, maybe I'm here, I want to progress, I want to change job, or I'm available for placement, or I want to change my direction or career. I want to go into business. And then we would go on a journey to say, are you a risk taker? Are you an entrepreneur? What have you considered? You need a lawyer, you need a marketer, you need, all those things. So I think it's one of my virtues also to be helping out and seeing it happening.
Yeah.
Even currently where I work, I do have middle managers whom I engage with the eye of mentorship. We have the public sector not as vibrant as the private sector is.
Yeah.
And I was saying, if I have this energy, can't within the first year I make 5 more who have the same energy that I have?
Yeah.
And then next year they
multiply. And
yes,
from there,
so much that at my work there now, because my work is very expanded, extending to even line ministries. We have sort of a mentorship program of where we see a bit of struggle, then the better performing ones do go in to help those ones who are not. But me being also the pusher,
to
make sure that things are happening. Yes.
Wow, I think this is so powerful because, first of all, I read somewhere, when we were doing research for our own mentorship program, the Inspire Mentorship program, that people that are mentored and coached, they are more likely to mentor and coach others, right? And that comes so well through you. And that means everybody that you have an impact on will most definitely, it will be like exponential because they will, drunk up around mentor other people.
It's called grandfather's father's child.
Okay, yes. I didn't know the term, grandfather's father's child. Okay, I like that term. All right, then, I think the second part is that, like having been trained in South Africa, where they have like a whole skills development policy at a national level, and they have a very structured way of, when you start your first year, like after the first 6 months, this is where you are, this is what you know, this is like, these are the competencies that you can demonstrate. Having gone through that program and then working here at home, I realized that we sort of expect people to like just, go through a non-structured type of training and then to come out as these amazing accountants or lawyers or doctors or whatever profession, right? And what you are talking about to me is that structure, providing a structured training to people, providing a structured way of development, which will then have an impact on the type of skills that we have in the country.
Yes, ma'am. I also have studied in South Africa, So the main thing is it opens your mind immediately and removes the ceiling and makes you think that it's possible, not only about what's in the book, but also what is in life, and opens up also to interaction and interacting to the world and seniors in the world, by guest lecturers, by researching about a real life a case study, a lot of real life case studies. So it becomes more practical. And also resources availability is just on a different wavelength, and appreciates the strength that each individual has,
Yeah.
and feeds into that strength and makes that strength shine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one that you didn't mention was the networking part. Like, I feel, having worked, that side, when I compare to this side, young professionals are more willing to go out at night, like you said, at the end of the day, we're going out for dinner or we're going to an event, and I think that's something that, we need to be pushing for a bit more, that people need to go out and build these networks and share, like, just information, share trade secrets, not like trade secrets, but like professional development secrets, peer mentorship, and, that kind of thing. And so, okay, you've been like a part of a number of networks, like formal networks, like the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I know that right now, even as you're the Accountant General, you are part of a network, right, of Accountant Generals in Africa and many other networks. How do you approach your network building? Because I assume you can't just, join each and everything that comes. How do you intentionally build your network?
The first one is pursuing that vision that I told you about. The second one is getting into a network that makes me a better player or a better team member.
What type, for
And
example?
this is the network that would be good in public speaking. Talk Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, yeah.
This is a network that would be opening new opportunities, yearly fellowship. This is a network that strengthens your professional well-being or changing the status quo, and this would be the Eastern and Southern Association of Accountants Generals, where I'm a board member.
And you are the youngest, right?
I don't know about that one. What I don't usually do is start opening people's passports for age.
But you are.
Yes.
I've heard that you are.
I don't know from who, but anyways.
Yeah, go and Google all their ages. But yeah, Lesotho is well represented. I know she does, like, she's very modest. But yeah, I know that you are.
And also we are now in the process of establishing the African Association of Accountants Generals.
Oh wow.
So I'm also in the sort of the board, in the executive.
That is
so okay. It's also a mentality of saying, what do I bring and what do I get from the network? I look at countries that are a little bit like Lesotho and see what I can learn from. But I also look at countries that are not like Lesotho at all, that are very far from Lesotho, and to say what made them to be there.
Yeah.
And take it and make sure that the impact is there, the impact is felt. The other network that you know about is that one of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation.
Yeah.
For the School of Leadership, because I also felt that as Africa, we are in a leadership crisis. Everybody is a leader, and everybody does everything without a firm ideology of what values drive this leader. Is it an integrity person? Is it a performance person? And you see that when we start changing colors, we start not being firm to where we have signed to be.
Yeah.
And I was saying, because I don't think I will end where I am, it doesn't matter where I will end.
Maybe the first female prime minister, I wouldn't be surprised. But continue.
Okay. So it's very important to affiliate. Yeah. It's very important to engage with that who you aspire to be alike. Yeah. And the main work that I work on is really to be alike. I engage very closely with the Rwanda leadership as well. And there are a number of programs that I'm busy brewing to achieve what they have achieved, at least in the area of where I'm working.
right
or
now, yeah.
or the projects that I'm working,
Yeah.
where I do a lot of peer review with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so those things are helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other fellowship that I still affiliate strongly with also is that of Strive Masiyiwa, whereby it was bringing about entrepreneurial skill, entrepreneurial appetite, to say even if you are an employee, your boss wants you to solve problems like you were an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So as much as
That's
you are
powerful.
employed, it doesn't mean you should kill your entrepreneurship drive to solving the solutions.
Yeah.
So even if I'm a public servant now, I am an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
A lot of projects that I work on, I solve them in an impact that would please my customer. Yes. Yes.
And you have to define that customer, whether you are in business or in the workplace.
I'm just talking about now in the public sector, to say a lot of initiatives are such that I'm able to fulfill my customers' needs, my customers' expectations. Without saying I'm not in entrepreneurship or in business. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I have a big room for network, but I go also there knowing exactly what I want from this particular network. Yes. That is why the retreats are important and the reflections are important, because I'm able to reflect and throw away those that I don't need, tick the achieved ones, and also start afresh to say, now playing in the regional leadership, who do I want to look like? Because that was not there in my sphere of mentors, interests, and go-to goals. But now it's there. Yeah. So I need to know, as I engage in a regional board or Pan-African board, who do I want to be like? Yeah. Then I can engage with that person to see how they got there. How do I increase my impact? And remember, we talked about the stepping stone, an opportunity being a stepping stone to a new height. So yes.
Wow, I think it's so powerful how coming from Lesotho, that the mindset that I have something to offer, it feels like it's something that you carry, no matter where you are, even if you're serving with all these, people that are from all these countries that look like they are, more established than the country. It feels like you go there and you say, I have something to offer. I'm going to build this network. I'm not just going to take from it. And I think that's really powerful.
Otherwise, they won't need you next time. If you are not bringing anything, that is one. Two, being youth, being a woman, or coming from Lesotho, it's not a disadvantage or a disability. Yes. And you can't go into a room of colleagues and start labeling yourself Lesotho. As though Lesotho is some sort of leprosy. You are there as professionals, as equals to offer something. Offer it, they might like it. Yes. So being youth, being a woman, being from Lesotho is not a disadvantage. Yeah. Or a disability. Yeah. No. You're just one of them. Yeah. Yes.
And you're there, by your own right. So the accounting field is quite dynamic. It's always changing. There are always new things. And I think especially because you've gone from auditing to leading an institution, a professional association or professional institution, and then going into the audit profession again, and then going into the public sector. How do you keep up to date with all the different changes that are happening, not only in the profession, but in the discipline of leadership or strategy or whatever things that you need to tap into to successfully carry out the different roles that you have?
I have goals that I set every time. With those goals, there are learning programs that I have on the side, both long-term and short-term. And they help to say, as a CEO, I'll make an example. You need PR skills. You need interpersonal skills. or as a CEO or as at the national level, you need deep analytical skills so as to be able to analyze when things are going good and when things are going bad. But also, if they are going good, if they are doing bad, how do you play around with scenario planning?
Yeah.
And prepare all the 4 scenarios in such a manner that you win.
Yeah.
Either
You're
way.
ready for whichever.
Any outcome, you already have a mini scenario that even if it comes at this, I'm going to win because I'll be ready with this.
Yeah.
So all those.
So you have courses that you take.
Yes. There are online courses. I did a lot of Coursera. There are online courses. I did a lot of skills book. Yeah. And I also have real life engagements. You know, I have the University of the Free State. Then there are conferences, accounting conferences, which I purposely prepare a research paper that I present on. So preparing that research paper that I present on provides a time to learn.
To read in different areas so that you can compile.
Yes. So they keep me on my toes and really to accept all those challenges or invitations to say, deliver an address on this, give us a paper on this research. Can you give us the auditor's independence? What factors affect that? You know, how do we move from cash basis to accrual basis in the public sector? How do we move from adverse or bad audit reports to clean audit reports? So it becomes a 3-month work that I study, that I prepare, I learn even from other countries, and I engage with them. So there is this constant learning, full-time or part-time. And each time I make a learning that is relevant to the level I'm at. So if I'm at CEO level, then strategy. If I am where I am now, public policy.
Yeah.
So it just depends. And if you are flexible and you're able to tango, then it's good. Yes. Because you give impactful outcomes and outputs.
Yeah.
Yes. That touch to the core of what you are delivering at the time.
And how important is it, do you think, the whole process of, you know, I'm also a contributor, you know, like a thought leader, I'm contributing to the ideas, you know, developing this field of public policy, or whether it's, you know, being a CEO, you know, of a public institution, you know, how important is that to your career progression?
For the growth that one pursues, you can't be stagnant.
Yeah.
In knowledge, you can't be stagnant in pursuing anything. So it's important to keep moving, to keep refreshing, to keep knowing new people, and to accepting change as it comes.
Yeah.
An example is now the COVID-19 pandemic. It sort of changed around a lot of things that when I was learning about a year or 2 ago, I said, not in Lesotho.
It's not relevant. It will never happen.
A virtual meeting, not in Lesotho. Working at home. I personally have an office, and I said, no, I don't have an employee that will be telling me they're working from home.
Yeah.
But we are doing that now, and it's working perfectly well.
Yeah.
And one of the highest productivity is actually doing that, working from home. So accepting and embracing this change as it comes enables fitting in the new environment and fitting into the new people without being rigid. Yes.
So what are the top 3 skills that you've learned along the way across the different roles that you've played and the different experiences that you've had that you feel are key to being a successful professional in this time, you know, that we're living in?
There are not 3, there are many.
I just want 3.
The first one is listening. Yes.
What is listening? Yeah, what that mean?
A lot of us, we are not listening to hear the message, the frustration or the excitement in the message. So the first thing that I had to learn to do is, so that I'm able to learn, because I've been getting into new areas altogether, that I am seen as a stranger or an outsider. To click in, I had to learn. And I couldn't learn without listening. In the true sense of the word. Listen to memorize, listen to know, listen to remember a voice of a
and
person you
to
engaged.
Understand, not to judge.
And
like usually
yes,
we listen so that you can have a response
before the sentence finishes. Yes, that is the first one. The second one is to have genuine engagements that are real, that give the real feedback, whether it's good, whether it's bad. As long as it's factual, I believe in, I stand for that one. The other issue is keeping focus. We have a lot of distractions. We have social media. We have the meetings, many meetings. And before long, you end up finishing a year not knowing what exactly you are doing, what exactly you are trying to achieve. So keeping a focus and ignoring the distractions on the way, I think is one thing that I've learned, and that has helped me to be where I am. The fourth one is strategic thinking and future thinking in a purposeful and conscious manner. To say, okay, this is happening now. What is going to happen in the short future, in the near future? But what is it that is going to be the impact in 10 years' time? Sort of a ripple effect, a chain reaction of this action now. And it's also so nice 3 months later or 6 months later when you feel the impact of an action you did 6 months ago or a year ago. So those are the key things that I've sort of built onto. Yes. And the last one is really to hold myself like a leader. And look forward to becoming the leader I aspire to be.
What does that mean? I think leadership is something that like people either shy away from, or they wait like for somebody to like confer leadership on them. So when you say, aspiring to be a leader or holding myself like a leader, what does that mean for you?
I don't know, but I don't think I will begin and end here.
Of course. Yes. Definitely. I mean, you're not beginning.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I'm talking all the nuggets that prepares me to a bigger person than the person I already am. By whom I engage with, what I do, and what I don't. I'm very famous for even missing out certain events, just to be missed. But I think even the things that I'm learning, the people I'm interacting with, I do them with the vision to become. Yes. And at times I imitate the becoming.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So I try also to fit in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Fit in that dress. Fit in that shoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Me Likhapha, I'm like seriously really inspired by you. I mean, I've known you for quite some time since you were the LIA CEO, and have really watched you go from, not even go from, like I've watched you have an impact everywhere you go, and I've watched the intentionality, you know, with which you approach your goals. Like everything you've said today is like literally what you live, and I'm really quite inspired. Now, there are a lot of people watching who are obviously, you know, equally inspired by you. And what I want you to share is, what would you say to somebody that is sitting where you were sitting, you know, back when you were just a girl from Bukotong who didn't even know what Center for Accounting was? Advice would you give somebody that is aspiring to be something and, you know, maybe doesn't really know where to start and how to go, you know, through that journey?
The first one is to be goal driven, to be fearless, go unapologetically for what you want and for what you believe in. I remember one of the accountants, who is the former president of the Institute of Accountants at Etehang, he used to say, be so good that even if they don't want you, the only expert in that field is you, and they have to come back for you. So if you strive for self-excellence to a manner that it is incomparable, I think it's what drives me.
Yeah.
And I would really say to those aspiring to have a goal, unapologetically go for that goal. Focus. The focus means don't throw the stones at every dog that barks because you won't reach the destination. The focus means put all the efforts towards that a driven goal. You'd find that you achieve it even 3 months beforehand. You achieve it 6 months beforehand if you put your all. The other virtue that I used to do is to say, I have the first option and it's the only option. I don't have plan B. Have it for convenience and for risk management, but work as though the first option is the only option, and work towards making sure that you fulfill it, regardless of what may come.
Wow.
So
can I get just one question in? What is your dream for Lesotho? That is the final question that we're closing with. What is your dream for this country?
I see Lesotho being a productive, a small but very rich country by the participation of the private sector, being served by an excellent set of public servants that are proud, that are strong, and that are very grounded in policy, and seeing Lesotho benefiting from the outcomes, long-term outcomes of those very policies. I see Lesotho not as a begging country, but as a resource country, and strategically benefiting from the resources that we have, from tourism to natural resources to the human resources, and to the altitude that we have. And in the leadership that is firm in ideology and stand for that ideology. Yes.
And strong values.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Me Likhapha. This is all we have time for, guys. There's so much more that I didn't even go into, but I'll definitely host Me Likhapha again on one of these forums. But thank you so much for joining us. As the Inspire Mentorship Program, we are trying to contribute to that human capital. As Me Likhapha said, her dream is to see Lesotho thrive, you know, in its people, amongst other things. So do follow our pages, do keep in touch with us, and see you again next week, Monday, on Mentorship Monday. Bye.